Hey everyone, here I am again, very blessed and very excited to be doing something which I love again, which is just sharing from my heart. And so today is day 4 of my new dream lifestyle habit of sharing YouTube videos with the world, with anyone who really, kind of likes what I'm sharing. So guys, once again, day 4. I'm not going to show you the beautiful scenery today because today it's not as sunny as it could be. But I am in my friend's lovely apartment, who's very kindly let me stay in his apartment. Very dear friend of mine who stays out in here in Kefalonia, Greece, and he's let me stay. Again, I feel this is thanks to God answering my prayers. I was coming into a bit of difficulty financially. I was thinking, like, how am I going to get through these next couple of weeks? I was running out of money, and again, another example of God answering my prayers. I was like, God, I've been a bit indulgent with money lately. I've been spending money in hotels and whatnot, and God, how am I going to get through these next couple of weeks? And once again, God just answers my prayers through different people who I've kind of asked and been connected with. So yeah, again, I feel God answers my prayers when I really just ask and for guidance and help, and He just seems to help in all kinds of different ways. So yeah, when I reflect on the last few weeks, guys, the kind of lifestyle and experiences and opportunities that I've got to experience, it really it's just, I couldn't have planned it. I think if I was left to my own head or left to my own thoughts and left to my own planning, I don't think I could have planned things to have worked out as perfectly as they have. So that's why I believe very strongly that God is just always there for me. He's just always listening, and He's always trying to help me. It's just it's a beautiful thing to have God in my life. It's a beautiful thing. It makes life more magical. It really does. I'm trying to find the words to describe it. It makes having God in my life makes life less theoretical, less kind of intellectual, and more, it requires a certain trust in the unknown, and that is also what I feel makes life more magical when you have God in your life, or for me, when I have God in my life. So that brings me on to the theme of today. Once again, I could be talking about, health, which is my background. When I first had the idea of doing YouTube videos a few years ago, I was thinking, oh yeah, I can talk about nutrition, I could talk about lifestyle habits, I could talk about going in the sea, I could talk about strength training, but no. These days, I'd rather talk about something a bit deeper, because I just feel there's a passion in my heart to share kind of, matters of the heart and spirituality. I just feel it's a deeper, more fulfilling subject to share about. So guys, that's kind of what I want to talk about today. Okay, my share for today is what I'm learning about God and what I'm learning about prayer. So, and by the way, thank you so much to those of you who are watching my videos lately. I've seen a few of you making comments. So, thank you. I can't remember your names right now. They're not coming up into my head. Obviously, Andrea, you're a good friend of mine. So I thank you for your comments. There's someone else, but you know what? I'll respond to your those of you that have responded to my comments. I will respond to you in comment. But just want to say thank you to those of you who have made comments on my videos. I know there's a couple of others of you. Mio, my new friend Mio Arts. I think you made a comment on my video as well. So guys, here's what I want to share today. Okay, what I'm learning about prayer. One of the things I'm learning about prayer, and one of the things I'm learning about the way in which God works is, I'm learning that I'm allowed to ask for more. And, there's certain situations that I've been reflecting on lately. And, if I were just left to my own devices, if I were left to just like listening to my intellect, I wouldn't have asked for them. I wouldn't have asked for so much because I kind of feel like, okay, I've already asked for one thing and it's been answered, and I kind of have this feeling of like, okay, I should stop now. Like this is getting greedy. Like this is getting indulgent. Like I can't ask for any more. Like surely God's gonna be like, no. That's enough, Ben. Like you've been a bit indulgent here. But what I'm learning is that voice, that feeling I have of like, no, like Ben, don't push it. Like don't push your luck. I think a lot of that comes from like parent stuff, like probably from my mother actually. Probably as a child, I probably learned that if I asked for too much, my mother would say like, Ben, like that's a bit much, like come on Ben, you're being selfish now. Like no, come on Ben, like that's greedy. And again, I'm not saying this to be mean towards my mother. I'm just saying it to be honest. And I think a lot of parents will probably have this, feeling of like, not wanting, not wanting you as the child to ask for too much or to be greedy. And again, that's their own stuff. Like my mother probably had an upbringing where she felt that she wasn't allowed to ask for too much. So just want to make that clear. I'm not, when I'm sharing this very openly with you, it's not, in case my mother watches this, sorry, Mum. I'm not saying these things to be mean towards my mother or, for anyone in my family for that matter. I'm just being honest about what I've learned so I can hopefully help others. So yeah, I think that's where it comes from. I think this feeling, this conditioning I have of not allowing myself to ask too much, it probably comes from my upbringing and things that I was told by my parents, and in this case, my mother. So yeah. But what I'm learning, right, the beautiful thing I'm learning about trusting God more and developing my relationship with God and really just like listening to my heart and my intuition is I'm learning that I'm allowed to ask more. I mean, honestly, guys, the last few weeks, the things that I've got to experience and the level of indulgence I've allowed myself to experience, it's amazing. But here's what I'm learning is that I'm actually allowed to. Like, I'm allowed to have more fun. I'm allowed to have more joy. I'm allowed to experience more abundance in my life. I'm allowed to do amazing things. I'm allowed to stay in amazing places. I'm allowed to travel to amazing places, and life is allowed to get better. Life is allowed to be easier. I think, again, a lot of this probably comes from, again, my mother, but I'm not being mean to my mother. I'm just saying that my mother's conditioning, probably growing up in her environment, she's probably, been conditioned to this, is often there's this feeling of, and not just my mother, but just a lot of people in my upbringing that I would have been around and used to speaking to. There's this feeling I feel, and probably a lot of it is just generally in society, especially in London. There's a feeling I feel and a belief that you got to hustle, you got to put the work in. You got to put the work in. Nothing comes easy. Like you're not allowed to have a dream lifestyle. Like you've got to graft, you've got to put the work in. But what I'm learning is that might be true to an extent. Yeah, of course. You will need to put a certain amount of work in. But what I'm learning is it hasn't got to be as hard as we think and as we're conditioned to believe. It hasn't got to be that hard. Hard work can be good for character. Hard work can be good for your soul. And certainly living a life of integrity, I totally believe in that. And I'm not saying that hard work isn't good for us, but what I'm learning is it hasn't got to be as hard as often what our conditioning has us believe. We're actually allowed to experience more joy. I'm learning that it's more like, having good intentions and doing what feels loving. I feel that's more important than this kind of like hard graft mentality. So I think often people think, you've got to graft, you've got to like stay up, you've got to work 10 hours a day. Sometimes you've got to compromise. Sometimes you've got to do the horrible jobs to make money. No, no, no. What I'm learning is, no, that isn't the truth. What I'm learning is more important is your intention. So, for example, my intention is to help people. My intention is to find out what my soul passion is. My intention is to help people in a meaningful way. My intention is pure in the sense that, or mostly pure. It's not completely pure, but I'm working on it. My intention is to really help people to be loving to themselves. So that's what I feel God is more concerned about. God isn't like concerned with how hard I work in terms of how many hours a day I work, or how much how self-sacrificial I am. I feel God is more concerned with my intention. And as long as my intention in terms of like wanting to do things which are really going to help humanity and help people connect with their heart, like that's what God cares about. And so I feel that as long as my intention is good in that sense, God is like just answering more and more and more of my prayers lately. So again, I'm just looking at the time of my video and I'm realizing this could be a long one. So I'm going to try and be succinct here. But this is my little share for today, is what I'm learning about the way God works and the way he answers prayers is that like I'm allowed to ask for so much more than my mind thinks I'm allowed to. And God is so much more generous than, again, my intellectual mind thought. And just to give you an example, some of you might know that famous film, Oliver, right? And there was a play made of it as well. Oliver. I'm trying to think of some famous songs. The musical Oliver, right? Most of you will know it. It's a great classic English musical. Anyway, there's a scene in the beginning of the film where Oliver is in this like boarding school, really strict boarding school, and he goes to the master and he's got his little bowl and he comes up to the master and he wants a bit more porridge and he says, please, master. He's very shy and very kind of fragile and scared, a bit like me when I was very young. Please, master, can I have some more? And the master is like this big, kind of guy with a big belly, a big hat. He's like, more? And so, what I'm learning about God is like the complete opposite of that. Like every time lately I've been praying to God and I've been asking for more. God is like the most generous parent I can imagine. And he's not just giving me more. He's given me more than I even asked for in the first place. Like honestly, the abundance and opportunities and ways and just the amount of things that God is handing to me in my life right now, when I come with a pure intention and I'm asking God like please God, would you be able to help me with this? Would you be able to help me with that? Like what I'm learning about the character of God and how generous he is in his nature and how compassionate he is. I feel that God is just like the most generous parent I could ever imagine having in my life. So that's all I'm going to say now. And again, there's way more detail I can go into and I can explain the different situations I've been in lately, especially with money and running out of money. But I'm just learning that as long as my intention is pure and as long as I'm putting my money into good things and as long as my intention is to use the money I have and the resources I have and kind of doing the courses that I'm doing right now in order to invest in myself. And as long as my intentions are good and I know that I want to give back, like everything that God's given me, I know that I want to give back more to others. Like I'm just learning that as long as my intention is good, God is just so on my side. And so that's what I want to share for you all today. If you're having difficulty with money and you've got certain dreams and ambitions and but your intention is good and you know that you want to help others with it, like just ask, literally just ask. And as long as you trust and you have a sincere trusting that God's going to help you, he will help you because he's helping me so much lately. So that's what I want to share for today. I hope that's helpful, guys. So guys, go for your dreams and just pray and just ask and just trust. If you trust that he's going to answer you, he will answer you. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Hope that's helpful. Bye.